To all five judges. Oh my! Defend yourself!
Have you ever seen a fighter go from hero to villain in 5 seconds flat? Or watched a match descend into pure chaos because someone just couldn't follow the rules? Yeah, this gets ugly. Today, we're counting down the nastiest, most brutal disqualifications in combat sports history. These aren't your average accidental fouls. We're talking flying knees to grounded opponents, sucker punches, illegal slams, biting, and the kind of dirty tactics that get a fighter banned on the spot. Some of these moments shocked the world. Others, they changed the sport forever. From MMA to boxing to kickboxing, when tempers explode and the rules get tossed aside, it doesn't just get messy. It gets unforgettable. Let's dive headfirst into the madness. Tyson versus Holyfield 2, the bite heard round the world. June 28, 1997. MGM Grand, Las Vegas. Mike Tyson steps into the ring for a rematch with Evander Holyfield. After losing their first bout, Tyson was out for redemption, but frustration set in early. Holyfield's relentless clinching and repeated headbutts, one of which opened a cut over Tyson's eye, pushed Iron Mike to the edge. Then came round 3. Tyson leaned in and bit off a chunk of Holyfield's right ear. A piece of cartilage hit the canvas. The world gasped. Referee Mills Lane deducted 2 points. Then it happened again. Tyson bit Holyfield's other ear, this time less severely, but enough to stop the fight. Disqualification. $3 million fine. Boxing license revoked. The moment didn't just end a fight. It nearly ended Tyson's career. From feared champion to public villain. All in one night. Ronda Rousey and the verbal tap controversy. In 2011, a rising Ronda Rousey entered Strikeforce Challengers 18 with an undefeated record and a trail of snapped arms behind her. Facing Sarah D'Alelio, Rousey quickly took her down and locked in her signature armbar. Then, confusion. Referee Steve Mazzagatti stopped the fight, claiming D'Alelio had verbally said tap. But D'Alelio immediately protested. She never submitted, she claimed. The win stood, but the MMA world erupted with debate. Did D'Alelio fake a verbal tap to avoid injury? Or did the ref jump the gun? It wasn't a disqualification, but it exposed a dangerous gray area in combat sports. What counts as a verbal tap? Gilbert Yvel, the referee punch. Gilbert Yvel didn't just fight opponents, he fought everyone. At Fight Festival 12 in 2004, Helsinki, Finland, Yvel was in a clinch when the referee stepped in to reset the position. But instead of backing off, Yvel spun around and punched the ref in the face, dropping him cold. Disqualification. Instant chaos. And it wasn't his first offense. Yvel had already been disqualified for eye gouging, biting, and refusing to touch gloves in past fights. Nicknamed the Dirty Dutchman, Yvel was banned from several promotions, including Pride, until he finally cleaned up his act. Sort of. Paul Daly, one punch, career gone. Paul Semtex. Daly had knockout power in both fists, but at UFC 113 in 2010, he used one of them at the worst possible time. After being smothered for 3 rounds by Josh Koscheck's wrestling and trash talk, the fight ended with a decision loss. But Daly wasn't done. As Koscheck turned to walk away, Daly stepped forward and sucker punched him after the final bell. Ref Herb Dean intervened instantly, UFC President Dana White announced,
Everybody thinks he's the pound-for-pound best in the world. He will never fight in the UFC ever again.
calling it.
It was probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Daly continued his career elsewhere, but in the UFC, one punch was one too many. Myrtle Groenhart's flying KO and fan ambush glory. 42, 2017. Myrtle Groenhart versus Harut Grigorian. Midway through the fight, Grigorian took a knee and instinctively turned his back, thinking the ref had paused the action. But the fight wasn't stopped. Groenhart charged forward and landed a flying punch from behind, knocking Grigorian unconscious. Technically legal, morally questionable. Two angry fans jumped into the ring and attacked Groenhart, forcing security to intervene. There was no disqualification, but the moment set off a firestorm about sportsmanship in combat sports. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Rumble Johnson versus Kevin Burns. Eye Poke Nightmare. 2008 UFC Fight Night 14. Anthony Rumble Johnson stepped into the octagon to face Kevin Burns. But what followed was less of a fight and more of a finger war. Burns repeatedly poked Johnson in the eyes throughout the fight. Warnings were given. No point deductions. Then in round 3, another eye poke. This time so brutal it left Johnson with a detached retina. He couldn't continue. Shockingly, referee Steve Mazzagatti awarded Burns a TKO victory. The MMA world exploded. Johnson appealed, but the Nevada State Athletic Commission denied it. Months later, Johnson returned in a rematch and flattened Burns with a head kick. No controversy that time, just justice. John Jones. The only loss. John Bones Jones, one of the greatest fighters of all time. But officially, he has one loss. At the Ultimate Fighter 10 finale in 2009, Jones dominated Matt Hamill, controlling the action and unleashing vicious ground and pound. Then, illegal 12-6 elbows. The referee paused the action, and replays confirmed the illegal strikes. Even though Hamill was already injured, the rules were clear. Jones was disqualified, the only loss on his record. Ironically, the 12-6 elbow rule was repealed in 2024, but the DQ still stands, a technicality that haunts an otherwise spotless career. Andrew Galata, meltdown in Madison Square Garden, July 11, 1996. Andrew Galata was outboxing former heavyweight champ Riddick Bowe. He was ahead on points. He looked sharp. Then came the low blows. One, then another, then 5 separate shots to the groin, even after repeated warnings. In round 7, Galata landed a final brutal shot below the belt. Referee Wayne Kelly had no choice. Disqualification. What followed was utter chaos. Fans stormed the ring. Chairs flew. Over a dozen people were injured in one of the worst brawls in boxing history. Galata had the fight won, and he threw it all away. Combat sports push the limits of the body, but they test the mind even more. One moment of rage, one lapse in judgment, and everything, titles, legacies, reputations, can vanish in seconds. Whether it's adrenaline or something darker, these DQs remind us the fight isn't just physical, it's psychological. So tell us, which disqualification shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love combat sports like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. Until next time, fight smart, fight fair, and try not to end up on this list.